welcome to Spectral Evidence. Tonight we are going to investigate the mysteries of steampunk, and our special guests tonight are...
The Secret Swan Society.
We have Nathan, Tony, and Tabby. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So tell me, in a nutshell, what is steampunk?
I think many of us have our own little offshots of what is steampunk. A variety of people in the community describe it slightly different, but basically it's taking all the older science fictions from the Victorian time period, things by Jules Verne and others, time travel, and the what ifs of what if the world still ran on steam, what if time travel was possible, things like that.
Yeah, pretty much what she said. It's like an alternate past kind of deal. She said the works of Jules Verne and H.G. Wells and the old, what people just kind of think of as science fiction. Well, it's really outdated, the whole idea of a great, like, submarine before there was submarines, and airships, and going to the moon way before rockets and television and things. So, yeah, a lot of people build on that. It's become unique enough that it's really starting to branch away from science fiction as we know it today to its own little genre.
Now, I noticed, you kept saying, the technology from the past, but I've noticed that online, I've seen a lot of people that have made present-day technology in a steampunk fashion. So, I mean, it's not only a past, but an alternate past, but it's kind of an alternate future as well, where it goes straight through.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of just like an alternate universe in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the hard things to describe steampunk. A lot of steampunks admit that it's very hard to encompass it in one definition because it's alternate past, but because it also includes time travel, because of H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, that it's often the future, the now, old technologies merging with the new. Like you'll find many examples of the steampunk, like steampunk computers that people have made, steampunk USB ports, just using the old aesthetics of wood and brass to make it a little bit more showy than we are used to in this kind of corporate world, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So what drew you guys to the steampunk?
Well, as for me, it started out, I had an interest in like anime, and a lot of people who go to anime conventions in the area also go to the steampunk conventions, and they also sort of like merge together online. Like you have steampunk anime like Howl's Moving Castle or Steam Boy, and it just kind of came out of that, and I started looking around on the internet. It's like, this is really cool.
I kind of started with a lot of the Victorian fashion. I'm actually a history major from New England College in Henniker, and a teacher, so I liked that time period, the etiquette of the time period, the clothing, and the structure of the society. And then a lot of the older science fictions, the Jules Verne, the time machines, and I guess growing up, one of my favorite movies was Jean-Claude Van Damme's Time Cop, and how time travel could be possible, and all the infinite what-ifs out there. And then adding in a lot of just the fashion.
I guess for me it started with my love of hats. I really am fond of the fedora, the 1940s-esque look, and when I got my first few fedoras it turned into, well, I need things to wear with them. Can't really wear it with my Mountain Dew shirt, just looks off. So I ended up getting a few things here and there. By chance I got a bowler hat, and it just, hats started coming in, and someone mentioned, well, you're very steampunk, and then I found a pair of goggles I really liked and got them, and they're like, oh, now you're definitely steampunk, and I went, well, I'm gonna have to look into it. And when I began looking into it, I was just so interested in it. I find that, I guess, the best of everything is in steampunk. You've got the best crafters, you've got the best prop makers, fabricators, costume designers, writers, musicians, artists, painters. I guess everyone is just, if they're in the steampunk genre, they're often very
Passionate.
passionate, very good quality works, and in some cases, I would even go as far as to say they're the best of the best. And I just have stayed in it ever since.
And the people who aren't as good as the rest are just, we get a drive to be as good as those people. Like, I'm learning to sew because I want to be able to make my own stuff because a lot of us are sort of poor.
I think that's where a lot of steampunk comes from, is
Making things out
a
of
lot of
found
people
stuff.
are poor, so.
It's a very green genre. A lot of the artisans use things that are already out there and repurpose them. For example, the blouse I'm wearing is a repurposed fitted sheet that was just sewn and made into a blouse. An old skirt, old prom dress that was repurposed.
You'll see a
Parts from automobiles, clocks, plumbing.
You'll see a lot of plumbing, you'll see a lot of lamps, because they usually are very, you see a lot of lamps that people will glue something here, paint it, or even some cases, don't even paint it. And when people say, what is that? You go, it's my new laser gun. And people are like, that's amazing, and they just completely believe it.
I saw a gun somebody made out of a caulking gun. That was really cool. They used a glass doorknob like that, and he painted it bronze, and it looked amazing.
So, do you find that steampunk flows over to your regular life or your non-role-playing, dressed-up life?
I definitely do, only because my recent thing is, along with hats, is now older styled coats. And even though every day I'm not wearing a vest and top hat or something, I do find that I'm dressing up more. Not as much as costuming, but just kind of being a little bit more elegant, trying to wear more button-down shirts, things like that matter. Because I just feel better, and then I just get a better, I guess, a more positive response from it. I don't really know how to go along with that, but besides just how I dress, I also feel those themes kind of dripping in. I know that I kind of do some writing on the side, so I have a few steampunk works that I've been working on. I'm currently in school for game design, so definitely some steampunk themes have popped up in some of my projects and stuff. And it just kind of, I don't know, I guess anything that you're really passionate about will eventually just seep in to other aspects of your life.
Definitely. Like I said, I'm a teacher. I also do a lot of paper crafting. And a lot of companies where this has become a popular genre have picked up and run with that. For example, Graphic 45 had a complete paper line based on steampunk. And I have some examples of their papers here. But others like Stampendous, who does stamps and designs stamps, they have a whole stamp line that is steampunk genre style stamps. In the teaching field, I use a lot of the dressing up of the Victorian fashion to kind of give a first-hand idea to students of the time period for a piece of literature we may be focusing on, or a time period in history, that major time period between the early 1800s and the start of the 1900s. Trying to think. I mean, it's slowly, like Nathan said, it slowly seeps in and kind of spreads out, and you can make those connections between what you're doing in your everyday life and kind of the steampunk genre. Just being presentable in public, like Nathan had said, with the button-down shirts. For somebody who's going out into the field for their first job, that's something that you want to be. You want to be presentable. And that's one of the etiquette pieces from that time period.
I know it definitely invades my usual life. I'm a really strong reader, and I like to read. I'll sit there for hours, and I find more steampunk books to read. I also like to draw because I want to be a tattoo artist. So more steampunk-themed things are like just kind of coming out of my pencil.
Now, when did steampunk become steampunk? I mean, the first that I knew of it was Wild Wild West with Will Smith. that really had a lot of strong steampunk elements to it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the original show
Actually, the original show did.
it.
Yeah.
I've never seen the original show.
I need to, I know that.
But I mean, is that when it started, or?
I believe on Wikipedia, there's a Wikipedia entry that says that the first coining of the term was in the 1990s. And someone was, at the time, in the 1990s, a very large sci-fi movement was something called cyberpunk. I guess it could kind of be, I usually describe it as Tron, and other people to test that. But I assume that's how cyberpunk is. And someone was talking about the works of a certain author on a radio show, and he's like, well, think of it as more of like a steampunk. And they were like, well, what, steam engines and laser guns? And that has really become, I guess, the use. It's really caught on. Again, a Wikipedia entry will probably tell you that it's been around since the 80s, really, as actually being its own thing, and a lot of people starting to branch it off. But definitely, turn of the second century, the 2000, 2001, 2002, up until now, it's really caught fire and has really picked up in the coming years. And as far as what we can see, I mean, the last few years alone, it has almost tripled. So it'll probably just keep growing and growing.
So what do you see the draw for people these days that are really noticing it and getting into it? I mean, is it maybe the old-fashioned, not just the clothing and everything, but maybe even the morals, or thinking back to a time that maybe even if it's just a romantic notion that it was a better time? Do you think that's got something to do with it, or?
I think it's definitely part of it. I know that from the job market point of view, and a lot of those values, those are the things that are really catching employers' eye, is the etiquette, the pleasantries that were a big part of the Victorian time period. The thank you letters, just how people interacted.
It's a really different aesthetic than what it is now, because in the Victorian era, it was all about who you knew and how you interacted with people, whereas now it's all about business. You go somewhere, you pick up what you need, and you leave. There's no really interaction between people.
I would agree with them. I think it's definitely a more positive aspect, not only on the past, but I think on the now. A lot of people are probably looking back at, I guess, just a better time. Like in a steampunk world, you've got the etiquette. It's what they've said: the etiquette, the classmanship, the sense of adventure, the sense of not everything's discovered and everything can be invented, and the entire world's in front of you, and the mixture of you've got religious breakthroughs, and you've got scientific breakthroughs, and you've got famous studies and big giant wars and empires, and at the same time you've got revolutions and a new way of thinking. And then you got steampunk that's like, well, they're also better than the past, so you don't have racism, you don't have these class structures, you don't have this idea of corporatism, and like everything that we look at as being kind of negative and a lot of people blame for the downfall of our society and stuff. Those really didn't exist. So it's a really big positive push. It's that sense of adventure, of being able to make your own name. Everyone can get famous. Everyone can be rich. Again, the whole idea of time travel is being able to, again, explore the unexplored. I mean, you can experience things you wouldn't normally, and it just all stacks up. So I guess just adventurous would cover it all. That
See, that's what I think of when I think of the steampunk. It's the adventure that there's many unknowns left.
Definitely.
Now when you look at these days, what's left? The bottom of the ocean or outer space. There's nothing in between. But in the steampunk realm, there is that. the adventure, you could be a British soldier fighting the Zulus or whatever, that's still around, or anything.
Now, your personas, how did you come up with them?
I actually didn't think about this. My persona was a lot of work, actually. The lieutenant was, my persona is Lieutenant Nathaniel Flint of the landship Scorpius. And how'd that come around? It was basically of a basic look that I was kind of going at the time, kind of the 30s gangster kind of look, and then adding that to a more European kind of adventurer feel. And I was really caught up looking online and trying to find my own way in the steampunk world. I started realizing that there's a lot of airship captain this and sky pirate that and engineer this, and it just kind of bugged me. And it's kind of what you said. One of the only things I could connect with at the time was Wild Wild West, which is one example of many of steampunk. And in the movie, spoiler alert, guys, there's a giant mechanical walking spider, and that's a big deal, and it wreaks havoc, and no one knows how to deal with it. And that's kind of where the idea of me being a land ship lieutenant came from. And I captain it, but I don't have to be the rank of captain. And it's just different, and it's very steampunk. And since then, there's been a lot of choices that have kind of made it grown more than just, I have a good idea, and it's steampunk, and it's different, so I'm going to go with it. I know that the landship has formed into being kind of an anti-airship machine, and a lot of people seem to go towards more the outlaw or pirate or time traveler. Mine is more of a lawful mercenary. So he's very anti-airship pirate and stuff, and that's just kind of brought around a bunch of different adventures that aren't necessarily the airship or the submarine, but I feel that there's a lot of possible adventures there. I know I'm writing a bunch of short stories for my character, and it's just kind of grown with that. And definitely being a part of the society has helped me kind of push where he would go, personality-wise. Tony?
My persona is called Serenity. She owns a manufacturing company and it deals with paper. And she has kind of a muddled past. It's not 100% developed, but a lot of false ideals about society at the time, and misplacing her trust in people and kind of falling flat on her face and then building herself back up. And eventually she stumbles upon the Secret Swan Society and works with them to coordinate events and different programs in their community outreach.
My character, Andromeda, was first inspired by a song by the same name of a band I've been listening to. And it's about this created creature named Andromeda who goes on a rampage against her creators. So that idea kind of sat in my mind a while, and I came up with the idea of this homunculus, like an automaton, who was created by an alchemist who's experimenting to find, eternal life. And he created 7 of them. She's the 5th. And they all, were trapped with him for a while. They had to serve him while he did his experiments. And finally, they escaped, and they wrecked the whole place, and they were separated in the chaos. And so what they do is she goes out and tries to find her sisters. And as she's looking for them, she runs into the Swan Society. And she's also looking to take revenge against her creator because she has all these existential problems. Because she doesn't know, how to interact with people or what exactly emotions are. So it's hard to role play, but it's a lot of fun.
So besides the H.G. Wells and the Verne aspect of it, what are you guys watching or reading right now that's steampunk? What really is working for you guys that is put out mainstream that you feel has captured the steampunk?
I read The Affinity Bridge recently. I don't remember who wrote it. It's by a woman, though. And she did a great job. It also includes automatons. And she just captured the whole aesthetic, which I think is difficult in a piece of writing because it's such a visual culture. And of course, there's Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. That's a series now.
That's a really good series. Like, that's what really got, like when I think of steampunk books, I'm always trying to plug Westerfeld's Leviathan series. It's kind of an alternate take on World War I, and they've got a biopunk versus steam/diesel punk kind of feel to it, and it catches a lot of the whole idea of alternate history perfectly, and it's different enough that I think it really stands out to all the other books and short stories that are out there right now, but definitely steampunk enough that I will definitely say it's a must-read to anyone trying to get into the genre.
Yeah, I thought it was so cool. The biopunk is that one of the things one of the sides has is this giant dirigibles that are actually living whales filled with hydrogen, and they have these little cilia on their fins that propel them through the air.
I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place with what I read and watch. Music-wise, I'm very much into Abney Park or Dr. Steele. Those are definitely at the top of my playlists.
Steam-powered giraffe.
Steam-powered giraffe.
They're fantastic. They're also performers. They started out as mimes, and then they branched out into music.
That's an interesting jump.
It works though. Like they really have a really good show. From what I could see on YouTube, they're not out this way very often, but
Yeah, they're based out of like San Diego, I think.
well, I have been reading. What have I been reading? Oh, the most recently is probably Sherry Priest Clockwork Century series. A lot of people have mixed feelings on it. It starts with Bone Shaker, but I think that after Bone Shaker, the Dreadnought, the Ganymede, a bunch of the ones that came afterward, I think that's where the series really takes off. And it's this alternate take on kind of the Civil War and zombies and stuff. And it really plays it off well. And I like that as far as book series go. Besides that, I've been rereading a lot of old stuff as well. I read the original War of the Worlds. I read The Time Machine. What else did I read? Something else.
I know I've had to replace my copy of Frankenstein a few times.
Yeah. I've been rereading the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, and there's some steampunk elements in that, but there's a lot because he spans different universes in the writing.
As far as movies go, Wild Wild West is a good one. Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow is good. Oh, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is perfect. Where they take all the characters from those old steampunkish short stories, I mean, not short stories, the old novels, science fiction novels, and they put them all together. I believe it was a graphic novel series before
Yeah,
it was a movie.
Yes.
But it's really good example. What else? The new one, Hugo, is not that bad. It's got some elements to it that's really
I
good.
hadn't seen it.
What-
I heard it
what's-
was really good.
What's a TV series? I know I've been looking for more. I keep getting told Warehouse 13 has a lot of steampunk elements that I've been meaning to start watching. Some Doctor Who episodes have very steampunk themes to them. Books music. You guys pretty much touched on all the music.
Yeah. Well, there's some anime. There's like Howl's Moving Castle, which is the screenplay of a book by Diana Wynne Jones. Then there's Steam Boy. There's Ghost in the Shell's kind of, but that's more cyberpunk. I don't know.
TV. I'm trying to think of a TV series. I know there's one that I'm missing, and I'm going to get a lot of Facebook messages.
Torchwood, maybe?
Torchwood and Doctor Who
Firefly.
have that feel. Oh yeah, Firefly is considered one. I
Oh,
would
yeah.
almost say that's still a little bit science fiction, but it's got elements.
Clothes-wise and stuff like that, Firefly, I think, is very steampunk. But as far as like the equipment goes, and the spaceships and whatnot, I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
It's very good science fiction.
oh, no, it is good, don't get me wrong.
It's fantastic.
So if somebody, they want to join or attend a meeting, where would they go to find out where and when?
The best way to find us is through Facebook
Yep.
and looking up the Secret Swan Society there.
At the time of this recording, we do as much as we can for weekly meetings. We are doing a lot of, we do every Thursday at 7. Currently, the Pines Community Center out of,
Northfield.
it says Northfield, it's really in Tilton, I think. I don't know why they say Northfield.
The lines are a little blurred of the town line,
Northfield,
but it
Tilton.
is
Officially, it's
Northfield off
Northfield.
exit 19 of 93.
They're kind
Yeah.
enough to let us hold our meetings, and even though our sizes fluctuate, they're pretty accepting of that. So as far as getting into steampunk and you're in that area, I mean, we'd be happy to help. You can just show up to a meeting. We don't really have an etiquette to it. You don't have to sign your name in blood or anything. It's just you show up, say, hey, heard about you guys. There are meetings down in Waltham, Massachusetts at the Charles Rivers Museum of Industry and Innovation. That was close. But they do monthly meetings. You can usually find the dates for those on their website or on their Facebook. And those meetings are usually pretty big. A lot of the local steampunks from New England usually end up finding their way to those
Yeah,
meetings.
there's some big names who go to that too,
Mm.
like the Vagabonds.
And what are they?
They're almost like a local celebrity. The Vagabonds are I guess, entertainment troupe.
Yeah.
They do a lot of vlogs on YouTube and stuff, but they're usually seen at almost every con in the area, convention. I'll say that like 100 times. But they're usually seen at a lot of conventions. They've started. They go to a lot of anime and steampunk stuff. Actually, I don't know if they consider themselves more steampunk than anime.
Their aesthetic is more steampunk, but I think I have seen them at AAC.
Yeah, they usually go to.
Well, it's run by the same people anyway.
Yeah. Then we've got like the Thomas Two, who are like entertainment troupe as well. We got the Copper Claw, who do a lot of event coordinating, and I believe they also do vlogs as well. I know they have a website. We've got the Citizens of Antiford, who are another New Hampshire steampunk group. Their big thing is they do a lot of role playing online. They've created an entire planet and a country in that planet. Antiford is very thoroughly done out. And they have an entire website that's, you sign up, you make a character, and you can actually start contributing to their world and start building off of it and doing stories or encyclopedia entries. And they're starting to gain some steam, I would say. Who else? We got the MHS Hysteria is another entertainment group. They do a lot of theater. They do a lot of conventions and panels at conventions. I guess that kind of.
Yeah, then the rest is filled out by just miscellaneous steampunks.
You've got a count named Slick Brass. You've got Miss Kitty,
David Forktongue.
David Forktongue. Just a lot of local names that you would probably see there who are kind of local celebrities and.
So does
Gaining-
everybody show up in costume?
Yeah,
For the
you
most
don't
part.
have to, but for the most part, that's probably the biggest thing for the Waltham meetings and our meetings is kind of a time for you guys to, hey, brush out all your stuff from the closet or from your drawer or wherever you keep it on the back of the couch. And you can wear it and not be judged and talk about steampunk or just talk about life.
They also have presentations by different people a lot. Like last time they had a couple guys do it, like a singing act. The time before that I went to was a guy who does like antique cameras and shadow boxes and things.
But you don't have to dress up to come and participate.
Yeah,
Especially
Very
at
you
our
get
open
in
meetings.
for free.
society
it's free.
for Waltham, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at our meetings. At the Secret Swan meetings, we're trying to go for the same feel, and just hanging out and everything. We usually end up talking about events and things that we wish to do. We've done everything from movie nights to basic just snack outs. We actually did a masquerade ball. That'll probably be another really big event coming up. We usually do that in the fall. So our masquerade ball went really well last year. We do a lot of community service stuff at the moment. We really do believe that as steampunks, we should be doing more in the community in general. Back in the Victorian era, I mean, that's
The goodwill towards men was
So is
very
this,
big.
what I heard about the steampunk bingo?
yes.
Oh, wait a second. Let's talk about that for a second. How do you do steampunk bingo?
Did we
Well,
work
the
that
plan
out?
was really to do a lot of the same, just how bingo is played now, but add more of the steampunk feel and kind of deck it out with us being dressed up and interacting in more the Victorian fashion or our characters' fashion. And this was going to take place at the Merrimack County.
But anyways,
Nursing Homes.
but yeah, as she said, the Merrimack County Nursing Home has been really thankful for us going there a lot. We've been going to Garish Manor there. The people there are very nice. They always are happy to see us. They allow us to dress up in crazy clothes, and we've done a variety of activities with them.
We did caroling in December.
We've done cookie creation. We've done like a steampunk tea and poetry reading. We've got some other ideas planned, like game nights and stuff, but we're trying to take it one step at a
Right,
time.
so some of your props, your items you use within your costumes, and how do you make them, and where do you get them? And
I should probably go first on this because I have the crafting skills of a newt. So for me, my props are, I guess I'm actually going to do something on this later. But I guess as far as steampunks go, I fall under the class of banker, as in I don't really make a lot of my own stuff. I have developed my costume via money and ordering it from places. I have just boots from Walmart. They're very nice boots and have lasted me, I'm almost on 3 years on these boots. Some cargo brown pants. And then I've got everything else is bought. I've got my Lamat replica pistol, and it's made of cast iron. It's got some pretty nice weight to it. I've had this for a while, a little bit. I got it a little bit after my first convention. I got my nice holster, which is Mal Reynolds' holster from Firefly. I like the strap, although I don't like it now. But I like the idea of the strap. I've got my signature fedora. I've got some goggles that I really liked, and they're nice to wear, but usually during a convention, I'm interacting too much to really wear them. So they just go on the hat, like a stereotypical steampunk. I've got my coat. I actually really like this coat. It's of brown suede. It's seen a lot of wear over the years, so it's not as perfect as when I got it, but I still love it. I'm actually trying to get a hold of a wool one to go more of a 40s look with it rather than a cowboy look. I just got a vest and tie, whatever button-down shirt I seem to wear at the moment. I have medals that are from various vendors. I know Thie made me my elephant medal here. And then this green one, this green star, was made by the, oh no, I'm so sorry, the Leaping Lemur? I am so sorry, this was supposed to be my shout out, and I completely forgot. I believe it's the Leaping Lemur that's made this beautiful medal and my girlfriend's earrings. And I have a variety of bags and things that I've gotten. And I have ideas of things that I wish to make, but like every time I start, I was like, I'll never bring this anywhere or be seen with this in public. So for the most part, I don't do a lot of making my own stuff. So now this goes in the balls in your court.
I guess I'm the opposite. A lot of the things that I use for my persona are homemade or repurposed items. I would say probably about 85% of what I use is of my own creation. For example, both layers to the skirt are my own creation. The bloomers I have are my own creation, altered. The blouse, the stick, the cane. I've even started to fabricate leather works for an underskirt holster for another member of our group, as well as other pieces, hats and headwear.
I guess that makes me sort of a mixture because a lot of my stuff is found and repurposed. Like the boots I bought and then I drew on them with Sharpie. The shirt was actually my grandmother's, and the pants were a Goodwill find, and the wig and corset I just bought.
Yeah, Goodwill is
Basically-
awesome.
Yeah, it's the best place to find things.
Between that and the Salvation Army too.
You can rip them up, tear them.
When you go
do
more
whatever.
south, there's a store that you will definitely hear about called Savers, and that is definitely a steampunk's friend. It's, as far as I understand it, it's pretty much just Goodwill and Salvation Army, but it doesn't have standards to what it sells. So it could be the crappiest torn up piece of whatever, and they'll say, oh, 5 cents on it or something. So a lot of people go there for items, for clothing, for whatever they can. That's definitely a name that's thrown around. I guess the next event in line would be the Waltham's Watch City or Steam City. I don't know what they're going with. But that is actually a really nice festival. They have converted the entire town of Waltham or city of Waltham, and they've all agreed to be part of this. And the first year they did it, a lot of people were really skeptical on it. And they pretty much just do steampunk events all over the town. They have people set up for a few days. It's just a big festival. And it got so big and so popular, and all the residents and stores and everything loved it so much that the second year they did it, it was even bigger, and it was grander, and it was a little bit more professional, and it was just that much better, and everyone loved it. So that's coming up in May
I think it's right after my birthday.
May
so the
10th to 12th?
Mhm.
Oh, I think
Mother's
officially
Day
it's
weekend,
11th.
I think.
I think officially it's 11th and 12th, but I think they're doing some like pre-events on the 10th and some setup. But that's definitely a big thing. I know the town of Waltham's really grateful for it, and they do. We're definitely going round 2 with our masquerade ball. It'll be in the Tilton-ish area, depending on how we look at it. We haven't really gone fully gung-ho with that yet, but last year it was at the train station right there in Tilton, and that went off really well. So depending on how funds and everything works, well, we might have it there again. We might find a bigger place if it gets more popular.
But we
don't
are
know,
looking
but-
for people who, DJs or live bands, if they want to send us information, again, through Facebook, how to contact them. We are looking into that as well for next year already.
And then I guess we could plug any of our weekly meets, Thursdays at 7.
Everybody's welcome.
Or
Right.
check us out on Facebook. I mean, we love to talk to people on there. We've got a lot of admins. Yeah,
I'm
both
pretty
I
sure
of
we
think
you-
all
are.
3 of us
all
are.
3 of us are admins, so.
So
you
your
can-
meeting locations are in the same spot?
Yeah.
Yep, again, as the time of this recording, we are at the Pines Community Center in Northfield. And they're gracious enough to keep us there for the foreseeable future that we can tell, so.
Well, I'd like to thank you for coming by, talking to us. This is actually, this is the second show we've done about steampunk, and we always get there was a lot of interest in it, and, I just want to thank you for coming by. It was
Thank
great.
you very much for having us.
Yeah.